Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am back, and I would like to invite you to a new journey with whole new model. As I promised, it's a smaller kit, it's an armored model, so let's do it. This is 1/72nd scale Takom's Object 279, which is a set of two kits inside. So let's agree something. I will be calling it a kit, but these are two kits inside, which we can prepare in a version with shorter gun barrel, longer gun barrel, suspension up and down, and we are also greeted with a figure of NBC soldier, which will be a very nice for someone who's going to prepare a vignette or a diorama. Here we see some renders of a model. We have standard Soviet 4BO camo as well as Triton camo, which looks really nice and interesting. This kit is over 100 Polish zloty, which should be about 22 euros, so it's a reasonable price for a set of two kits. Here we see all sprues listed, so it's not an easy and shake and bake kit. It's quite complex, but as you may spot here, most of parts come to this quadruple advanced suspension, which was very characteristic for this construction. Let's crack on the box and see what's inside. We have a mini Takom's instruction, which has a small format. We start with the hull, with some hooks on the hull, then we build some suspension. We can decide whether it's up and down, because this thing had a pneumatic suspension which you can adjust it to go through swamps, tall snow, or rivers, so it's a very interesting option for this. Takom also helps us to align drive sprocket and idler wheels, especially the drive sprocket will be very nicely aligned thanks to this part, which shouldn't be glued, but just to find the correct alignment. Then we install tracks with two options, and we have suspension finished. Then we go to the hull. We have some photo etched parts, which is a very nice touch, and we connect hull halves, and then we go to the turret. It looks we have a lot of parts for this scale. We have two types of gun barrel. This monster had 130mm gun, which was enormous for mid-50s when this beast was designed. Unfortunately, this instruction seems to be very small format, which will be quite difficult when we assemble the model. I think they could take some time to design it better, to design it in a bigger format, especially when we see some painting schemes. Unfortunately, Takom predicted only MIG color ranges, which is quite controversial and I don't like it. I'll explain it later. Here we see some wire, which will be a towing cable. It looks quite nice and it's a nice touch. Minimalistic decals, two sets for each model. I think that there's only one number inside. For those of you interested in this model, yes, this thing really existed. It still exists in some museums in Russia, probably in Kubinka in Moscow. This tank was considered as the new Soviet heavy tank. It was very advanced. Here we see some photo etched elements, some frames for lights, some details of the hull. They are quite thick, but very well protected in the box, so it's a very nice touch for this kit. And we have a solid amount of plastic for this scale. We have 4 sprues for suspension for each model. And what was surprising for me, I found 2 figures of NBC soldier, which is surprising and nice, but I hope nobody found empty this sprue in his box, so nobody was harmed because I got 2 of them. But thanks Takom. Let's see suspension sprues. We have flat sprues, which is very characteristic for Takom. And what we got here? We have beautifully detailed wheels with sharp details, very nicely molded. Takom makes some miracles with injection moldings, but it doesn't come without a price. And speaking of the price, here we see some injection pin marks on the internal side of tracks, which will be very difficult to remove. I'm also afraid that these tracks will be very difficult to mount because they are quite fragile. There are no many connecting points, so it may be quite difficult to assemble these things on idler wheels and drive sprockets. So let's hope my fears will not turn into real. Here we see some hull halves with plenty of injection pin marks and some plastic remains, which means that many details have been molded on the external side. We can remove some of these things which will disturb us during assembly. Let's look at details which are beautifully molded, which are very sharp and crisp. Look at these shovels. Everything looks very proper, and you just want to paint this and see how it looks with all weathering. We have even a little hammer, but unfortunately the longer gun barrel has a very ugly seam line which goes through the whole part and will be quite difficult to remove because just look at this muzzle brake. It's easy to damage this thing, but overall this model represents a very high level of detail for this scale. So well done Takom, well done. So here it is. This is object 279 in 1/72 scale by Takom. I'm looking forward to build this kit in upcoming videos, so stay with me. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to be alerted when I upload the next videos. And stay tuned. So thank you for watching and see you next time. Cheers, bye bye.